What's up, fellow lords of gaming? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. I am so sorry that I couldn't bring this to you guys live. My reaction says, but you know, gotta pay the bills. Unless you guys want to hit that like and subscribe button, so that way, you know, I don't have to miss out on shit like this. But let's jump into this real quick, because what a doozy. What a doozy. So I'm going to jump around between the streams so that way we can power through this, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about the stream, because to me it was total bullshit, as the past Chillin with Danny Kuz have been. So let's talk about some things that specifically came up and stood out to me right away. So jumping in here at about the 8-minute mark, we get to see who's jumping in on the Chillin with Danny Kuz session. We meet Dakota and Mark. Dakota is responsible for creative, and Mark was responsible for story. And unfortunately, I have to say this much in case with the two of these guys join the stream. There's tend to be cultures inside organizations, and if the culture is anything evident from the cohesion between teams for the people that Danny Kuz has brought in on here, it's evident that it is lacking. There is not a team environment atmosphere, and I felt that was really part there. At about the 14-minute mark, we got a really cool look at the art of magic. I thought that this art was pretty cool. I don't know. It's really funny because we got the thickamus up front and center. Like, if you look at it, I mean, the magic that's front and center almost looks ethnically ambiguous, is the best I can say. Let's call her the thick Ariana Grande. You know, she's the she can be white one day, black another, Hispanic another, and Chinese on a whole other day. So it is what it is. But I really like this art animation. Really good artwork done here overall. So really digging that. The art animation was really good. At 16-minute, we got yo man, the Koreans are absolutely loving this virtual influencers, but she basically introduced some of the mechanics behind magic, and we basically see that she's going to be focused on debuffs, confusions, summons, and then her transformation for her new skills. I really did like the presentation though overall of this new, like, the VR virtual influence. To be honest, she had more that virtual character had more personality than all three of the streamers involved in this, to include Danny. At about 19 minutes in here, we actually got a look at some of Magic's costumes, which was really good. I think Magic's costumes overall are probably some of the costumes that I think in this game kind of harken to, you know, how best to say this, like an actual MMO. Like, her Savage Shadowland looks like something ripped out of Monster Hunter World, if you understand what I'm saying by that. But we basically got various costume looks inside here. There are a few of them that I have favorites for, but we'll see how they pan out in terms of overall comic acquisition. She obviously is going to have Rise of the East, Eyes of Osiris, and the other special costume, I can't remember what the hell it is off the top of my head, steampunk costumes. So those special costumes are also going to be available to her. After this, they stuck to these costumes and basically changed up the costumes for probably about a good little minute. So we'll jump over to about 30-minute mark when they finally get into showing some gameplay and some skills. So about 32 minutes in is when we finally get a look at Magic's skills. The important things to break down here is that her three skills are focused on, her class skills are Soul Sword, Black Magic, and then Legion of Demons. Her Legion of Demons is obviously focused upon her summoning skills. Her Soul Sword is obviously focused on her attack, and then her Black Magic abilities are her magic-based abilities and attacks, which, to be honest, I think a lot of people are probably going to want to go into the summons build with some mix of attack from the Soul Sword, if my guess right now. But when we got to 38 minutes, it was really interesting because the creative or story-driven guy was the one who brought up the differences between Doctor Strange and and Magic's black magic abilities. I wasn't really particularly feeling that conversation because it doesn't address the problems that we're all experiencing with a character like Doctor Strange inside the game. So we jump over to about 47 minutes in the conversation. And we get a look at some of her specializations. Some of the ones that immediately jumped out to me from what he was showing was soul absorption, which gave Magic a 3% basically heal. Basically damage converted, damage dealt is converted to HP. So you're doing a disc leaper, which boosted up her HP attack, and then change of life, which basically converts some of the mastery. It's a conversion skill. It's another one of those, Spider-Man HP to attack kind of skills. Or dodge to attack kind of skills, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things inside there. The most interesting piece that we had up until this point inside the conversation was at about 59 minutes in, after they examined some of the skills, we basically got a look at some of the new companions. So we're getting Spider-Man as a companion, Daredevil, Yoshitori, Akiko, and Kirigi. So most of the companions are being brought over from Daredevil and from the Hydra Empire inside there. But looking at Spider-Man's summon is going to be really interesting because he decreases movement and accuracy, not to mention on top of that cocoons enemies for 4 seconds. So this is going to be really big. Now they try to point out that he follows the summoner around and attack nearby enemies while active, but he's only active for like 9 seconds. So what big of deal does that make? But the fact that his skill is going to apply a status effect where he can cocoon enemies and he decreases the movement speed and accuracy alone of characters is going to be one of those skills that I feel like is going to be highly beneficial to any characters playing. So he's probably going to be one of those top ranked summons special companions. Now on the special companion front, Danny never mentioned inside the stream what was going to be done in terms of players who have already reached the companion cap and how they were going to be what they were going to be able to do with the shards. That was something I was really looking forward to in terms of him addressing. Not that it necessarily concerns me, but I know there are some whales out there who have those concerns, but it never got addressed nevertheless. Daredevil's was just a straight up attack, so he really didn't look that good. And to be overall honest, like, it's just companions in my opinion. Like, these are just yeah, there's going to be a few companions in there that are going to do effects, but it is what it is. So at about 1 minute 3 is when they discuss the epic invasion, and this is where let me stop this. This is where the stream, in my opinion, really started taking an overdrive. They probably should have just ended it here. If I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, this is the point when they should have probably just ended the stream. They mentioned the epic invasion, and they mentioned how the layout was basically going to be, and the story writer Mark tells you the inspiration behind it. Basically, Quentin Beck was some part of the story that none of us really gave a fuck about, so we didn't really pay attention to it at all, and we never saw the resolution to it. But now we're basically going to get introduced to the Sinister Six in the story, and with the introduction of the Sinister Six, we are going to fight them across the epic invasion, and depending on the level, it's going to probably depend on how many of the Sinister Six that we're going to have to fight with those mechanics. So it's really interesting. But whatever version of the game Danny was playing on did not have the epic invasion available to him, so we couldn't actually see it. He was trying to find it, but he couldn't find it. So that was funny as hell. So anyway, so moving on past that, because this is the part where I feel like where the stream just got ugly, got downright ugly. So if I had to break this video down into terms of the good and the ugly, the good, the ugly, and the bad, thank you guys for all the support on that series. Is that Magic was the good. We basically got to see about an hour's worth of exploration, an in-depth look at Magic in terms of, her gameplay skills and everything else like that. The bad basically got into, this part about him not addressing a great many things that players basically had. And then we got into the complete downright ugly. And I hate to end this commentary on this part, but this is where I felt like the game got totally
level up daily.
Oh man,
That is causing
guys, I like I hadn't put out the video because I wasn't sure how I was going to say this to you guys, but I am going free to play in this game. And I'm going free to play for a number of reasons, and I did a video on the reasons why I'm going free to play, but I've never released it. But this point in this game is 100%, in my opinion, why you should go free to play for Marvel Future Revolution. King made a point on side his stream at one point on one of his videos and inside some of my streams that if you don't go all in, then there's no point in even tipping the toes in this game. And that's the truth of the matter. And what they introduce with the training grounds, which happens at about a minute 5 or hour and 5 minutes into this, they literally talk about training grounds and the introductions. And this is where we completely lose the fucking plot. Yeah, guys, you heard that. We completely lose the fucking plot. So their idea of fixing the problem with them not giving us a way to level up characters through their story or to level up characters innately and to remove it from Dark Zone is to create a new mode called Training Grounds. Well, guess what? Inside Training Grounds, you're only allowed 3 hours per week. That's it, 3 hours. So we essentially went from having 7 hours of a training ground inside Dark Zone to now having a whole new mode of training grounds that exists on its own. That's 3 hours. So you lose out on 4 total hours. But here goes where it gets worse, guys. Guess how you get more training time besides the 3 hours? Take a guess. You've probably already seen it at this point. And this is one of the reasons why you should go free to play. You purchase it. Yeah, you heard that right. In order for you to level up your character to the requirements to play the game, so for you to go from 105 to 110, for you to hit these new leveling requirements, you have to pay. You have to pay to level up your character. I don't care whether this is paying via in-game currency or paying via, crystals or paying via whatever it is. We should not be in an MMO where we are having to pay to level up our characters. You set these developers, Netmarble's Future Revolution's developers, you are the ones that set the level caps and said 110. And you basically showed how much you care about the players by saying, we're going to remove the Dark Zone environments and we're going to strip you from your ability to level up from 7 hours to 3 hours. And if you want more hours, you have to pay. You have to pay for more hours. I don't know in what world you could get more slapped in the face as a player, but you can. I was really disappointed reading the chat at this point because it showed me the mind-numbing nature of the community in general, because there's only 678 people viewing the stream on YouTube, but nobody was really questioning this. Why are we having to pay to level up our characters? Could you imagine if you played Destiny, Black Desert Online, Final Fantasy, or any of these games, these actual MMOs, Genshin Impact, all of these actual MMOs, and they told you that in order for you to go from level 1 to level 2, you had to pay for that time. Yeah, you had to pay in order to hit those new levels that they built in. That's not an MMO, guys. If there was any reason why I thought that you basically, if you're a player that's paying to play this game, and to show that this game was a pay to play scenario, this would be it. I'm gonna say in all these P's, and I know it's gonna sound bad in the audio, and I apologize about it, but I am beyond annoyed. Like, to say that this got ugly really fucking quickly with this stream is an understatement. Now, they can come in and they can release the patch after this, and say that, well, we're only asking you to pay 50,000 gold or 100,000 gold in order to come inside here. The fact of the matter, no matter what, is that us as players playing a game where we're based the whole process of this is leveling up multiple characters, leveling up characters innately to get them from level 1 to level 110, because that's the designation that they see. Makes absolutely little sense to me that we should have to pay for time, let alone that you basically had to institute a whole new area, an insulated, thing that's inside here where you go, you got to pay to level up this character. You have to pay to get from 105 to 110, because in the story mode, even if you played the story, there's not really a way to get to 105. You might get to 103 or something like that, but you're not getting to 105 from completing the dark domain, which brings up a whole nother point to me about the game. I was hoping to God that we were going to get information about dark domain part 2, because I really felt like that was the whole reason behind Magic coming, is that she was part of that story for dark domain part 2, but we're not even getting dark domain part 2. Yeah, guys, I don't really know where to go with this anymore in terms of that, but I myself, I can only tell Netmarble how I feel about the game with my pocket and my wallet, and in my opinion, they have literally said that with this update, the training grounds, they have literally said to you as a player that this is a pay to play game. You show up, and you show up with your wallet, because if you don't show up with your wallet, you're basically crawling at crumbs. That's the simple God's honest truth. If you can't see that they're pinching, if you're a whale and you play this game, you can't see that they're pinching you for your purse strings, because at this point, if you look at the Q4 numbers versus the Q3 numbers, they haven't been that better. They've been they've been on a decline in terms of total sales and revenue generated by month. They've been on decline, so they need to find ways to pinch those whales that are still willing to pay $10,000-$20,000, because obviously they got to support their purse strings. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. This is 100% terrible. We can talk shit about Marvel's Avengers, but the stream that had Marvel's Avengers on had far more players inside that stream. We can talk about Marvel's Avengers and say, well, they're reusing cycle things and their Spider-Man wasn't as great as we wanted to, but we're literally talking about fucking having to reuse areas to create training grounds and to make ways inside it. We know the whole reason for Dark Zone existing in the format that it will exist after this update, which is taking it back to the beginning, is a way for the whales to feel powerful and to spend more money so they can feel more powerful. Not to obtain power, but to pay for power. That's the problem with this game. It's everything about it is pay. So the rewards that you can get from training grounds didn't even sound that great. If I'm being 100% honest, they did not sound that great. So we'll have to see where it goes. I don't want to shit on it too hard, because we basically have about 6 hours before the release of the game. I kind of fucked up. I got busy with work and stuff, so I didn't get to play any of it before the went. But I'm gonna try to bring you guys some quick information for that one, and we'll see what goes on there. But man, yeah, guys, that got ugly real quick. All right, until next time, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Remember, hit that like and subscribe button. I can't wait to get home so I can bring you guys some fresh content and do a stream with you. I am not capable of doing that from the hotel that I'm staying at. But until next time, guys, peace.